Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our trading room. It's Tuesday morning. I trust everyone had a wonderful, restful, long weekend. As with all holidays, they always seem to be too short, don't they? Uh-oh. Oh, good. I thought my trade manager was going to give me a little bit of grief here this morning, but so far so good. You can see I'm a little bit late loading everything up here, but that's fine. I don't mind it on the day after a holiday weekend. I don't want to be jumping on any early signals. It looks like we've got a rather substantial opening gap from where the market left off last week to the upside this time. And we'll see whether or not that influences the market at all. Just throwing Trade Manager on my other charts, soybeans and crude oil this morning. And then we'll see whether we get anything shaping up here. Whenever you get a huge gap, it's always so tempting to fade the gap. And I'm keeping an eye here on this green bar sell, which could be our rule of three signal. That might be one that I would give a try, but I'm not going to get too crazy. Oh, Jim just shot me some advanced decline numbers. He says 1,300 buyers, only 170 sellers. So we're very positive on the advanced decline. Oh, so here we are coming out with a buy signal now off the eagle. We'll see if it gives me a second push. No, it's not going to. It's going to go on without me. Well, that's all right. Really, it is. I don't mind missing a trade. We're only a couple, 3 minutes into the session. I find opening range normally a terribly unpredictable time to try to trade. Okay, here we come with that rule of three again. And we've actually got the market a little bit pinched right now. We could throw a buy order in here above these highs. This is substantial. We know where the sellers have stepped up. So we could set it up like this. Oops, that's going to be out of reach. What if we took it below here? All right. These kinds of trades always give me the willies. Because you see we've also broken support here, so it's as though the market is looking for a chance to go lower. I'm not sure if this is as high as it wants to go. All right, here we're coming back with our rule of three signal now. Nice thing about this is we're going to get the test of the extreme right there. I'm anticipating, oh, actually we'll use the ATR here. We'll take every precaution. So we'll let the ATR turn the market over, which means that's going to be our signal bar. The eagle is one of the few tools that I will trust an early signal on. But normally, you know, I like to wait. Yeah, so we're actually pinched here a little bit. We could even consider bracketing this with an OCO. Oh, let's try that. We'll do an OCO buy above here. We'll do an OCO sell down here. And we pretty much have this market pinched. The problem, of course, now is the fake break, right? If you're looking at the market making a move, we were looking for some momentum, of which there seems to be very little. Oh, shoot, and what happened there with my OCO order? Looks like my OCO brought me in and knocked me out. Alright, let's try this again. Darn it. Alright, we've got a bit of a first micro-macro cross here. Wow, so much for that. Yeah, okay. I think we're gonna just be in watching mode here for a little bit. I think we got a red bar buy right about here. Yeah, not much right now, folks. Here you can see the Raptor is a little bit of a mess also. Nice little bounce off the hard edge there. You would have got a little bit of profit. Oh, here come the buyers. Wow. Buyers are pouring it on. Advanced decline, the numbers up a little bit. 1,500 buyers, almost 200 sellers. So definitely getting a little bit stronger. Soybeans and crude oil both stuck a little bit sideways. Take a look at those in just a moment. All right, let's take a look again here on the Raptor. Let's shoot a couple trend lines and see what we might get. So we have a little bit of a trend line down here. If I transfer it up here, just so we get that little bit of a channel look. Looks as though we may have overshot the trend line. Wow, the buyers are crazy strong today. Much stronger, I think, than anybody anticipated. 2,400 on the buy side, 300 on the sell side now. So that's an advanced decline of 2,100. And where did it start this morning? Around 1,200. So a huge surge in the buying pressure. Oil is trading in a little bit of a sideways range again, hovering around the or just above $45 a barrel for October crude. All right, here we're getting a late filter entry signal on the Falcon. Now the thing with the late filter entry, before this one runs away on me, is the trend line never goes out of sync, but the filter goes out of sync and comes back into sync. That's very important. It has to come back into sync to make it a valid signal. problem I'm having with this particular trade is how far back to cover it. Ideally, well, let's see if I can risk it all the way below the support line right down there. Oh, I can actually. This would be preferable because if the market declines, let's say it engages me and then falls off a little bit, at least I'm below some more substantial support region to try to ride out the swing. Okay, these highs now are going to be very significant for this trade. Come on. Of course, this is at quarter to the hour, my least favorite time to trade. Come on, just get us above those highs and we'll be fine. There we go, come on. Did that take a little poke above there? Now we're above. Crude oil about to give us or just gave us a trend change signal on the Falcon, and they're about to give us like a early rule of three signal here on the Eagle. So we've had one signal, two signals, but we've had the all-important test of the extreme, which is what we want to see. A pretty tricky little trade here, and a little bit out of reach for me, at least setting those parameters. This bar here is going to turn the ATR over. This is also now our signal bar. I would dearly prefer to take it below the lows. Darn it, can't cover above the high. Should have tried to take this one on the Falcon. It would have given me slightly better parameters. So you could use this current bar even, try to gain a second push. Look at that, it's just so close, at least for my account parameters. So there's a fair amount of support here on crude oil at these lows. We might see a little bit of a reaction, which is why I'm trying to keep those stops back a little bit further. But we'll see. We'll see if crude oil is going to be cooperative there or not. Not moving as fast as crude usually moves. Our Falcon trade, hooray! Looks like we hit our profit objective. maybe just in time. As the market starts to pull back a bit, whenever you start to see a lot of these pullbacks, it tells you that a market is starting to slow. Sorry, I was scanning my charts, thought I saw our crude oil trade is progressing fairly nicely here. So we have a nice little move lower so far. In spite of our delayed entry. Could see crude maybe trading back down here in this area. So the lows are 44.10, 20, somewhere around there. It could easily do 44.50. Not saying it's going to go all the way back down there, but 44.50 looks like a reasonable target for crude. Now we're into another red bar buy here on the Hawk. We don't like to see too many of these. These tend to suggest that the trend is getting a little bit weaker because we're getting all these very deep pullbacks now. A test of the extreme is still due. I'm not saying this is the best looking trade, but it is with trend. You could do a little hit and run type scenario like this. Try to capture the test of the extreme off of this red bar buy. The red bar buy, of course, is also our counter trend signal. You could use it to short the failure of the signal, but because we haven't had a test of the extreme yet, I think I would simply use it as an early warning that maybe the trend is starting to turn over, or that maybe we're going to see, if not the trend turn over entirely, maybe see a little bit of a move lower. Might be too much to actually call the trend for full-on reversal. And we're starting to get the makings of a first micro-macro cross signal. This signal actually tripped or fired when the macro line was still gray. Those are borderline. Those are up to you whether you want to trust that as a first micro-macro cross or whether you want to wait for another signal. The way I would do it, if I was going to trade that as a first micro-macro cross, is probably set it up like this. That way, if the market takes out the low, well, okay, then we'll give it a go. I'm leaving the stop a little bit high to allow for more of a pullback. And the obvious objective is the trend line down here. There they go. Come on. Come on. Just a couple ticks. You scoundrels. We hit our break-even trigger, and now all of a sudden they're floundering? Oh, you stinkers. Get down there. My entry was one tick too late. Well, break-even, whatever. Break-even. It didn't cost us anything. Now, of course, they're going to try to head a little bit lower just to spite me. We'll see whether they can make it back to the hard edge and this trend line here. You'll notice that the hard edge and the trend line actually falling pretty much in the same place, which it tends to do. Yeah, look at you scoundrels. So I know some people are wondering, why in the world would you use your break-even trigger if it ends up stopping you out of a profitable trade? Well, my fault was actually on the entry. Had I taken the hash mark, it would have been no problem, right? Would have hit it long before we hit our break-even trigger. What happened to me was I was one tick late. I think I set it up like this, hit the break-even stop. Had I been a little bit more careful with my entry, I think I would have been okay. No, maybe not. May have still reached back a little bit further than I had hoped, but I don't ever feel really bad about a break-even trade, even though I know that would have been a profitable one. There's something very comforting about having a trade at break-even, at least I think so. So here with crude oil, we're hovering just above the break-even trigger. That's close enough for me. I'll take the trade to break-even, and you should always consider your open profit also. You can see we're swinging for the fences here on crude. We've got, at the moment, $250 in open profit. That's substantial on a single contract. You know, if you don't want that profit to disappear, it's, what did they say? It's not profit until you bank it. So long as that trade is in play, that money is not yours. There's only one way to make it yours. In fact, with the crude oil trade, I think I'm going to throw my stop in just above the bar before it, or maybe even above the high of the current bar. So it looks like this. I'm not even going to use, oh, there we go. Stop me out on the slightest little reversal. I just brought the bar in here. I wasn't prepared to let the market back up on me all that much. For no other reason than, there was a fair amount of profit available to me. You hear different things about taking profit when you have it. You hear the one school of thought that says that you'd need to you need to give the market a chance to maximize its profitability on a move. And that is very, very true. Then you get the other school of thought that says you can't go broke taking a profit, which is also true. So I guess you're wondering how both those little expressions can be true. How can both be right? Well, I guess the answer is I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, you have to choose the one that is right for you, the one that is most comfortable for you. If that means, if you have a pain threshold of $200 in open profit, go ahead, take the $200, but don't be upset at yourself if the market goes on to make $400 or $500. I suppose if you're the kind of person who it would really bother you if you got $200 profit and the market went on to make $400 or $500, then you're the kind of person who needs to give that trade a chance to mature, to maximize its profitability. Good morning, Heinz. Heinz says on the NQ chart, the blue-red line indicator, is that the super trend or what? Yeah, you're referring to this here on the Eagle, this blue and red line. This is actually just the ATR, and I'm going to show you how to put that on there. This is something that Mike Filigera started doing. And you know my rule for putting things on charts. If it helps you make a decision, it can stay. If it doesn't help you make a decision, it can go. Well, this has been fairly helpful in the decision-making department. Essentially, what we're using is the ATR to help confirm the signal and hopefully keep us out of a trade that is not quite ready. So for instance, down here we had a very sloppy green bar sell, but it was against the ATR. So in this case, what I would do is I would let the market flip the ATR over, and then that bar that turns the ATR over, I would use that as the signal bar. The idea being that we're going to pick up a little bit more momentum. And you can see in this instance, had I used that philosophy, it would have actually kept me outside of this trade. So how do you put that on your chart? Well, it's really quite simple. You go to your indicators and you find your tool, your Eagle Trend Trader. Sorry. Pardon me. I'm getting confused here. You pull down your indicators to where you have all your IW indicators. And toward the end here, you're going to find one that says IW TM ATR Trail. This is actually what your trade manager uses to plot the ATR trailing strategy. You can see you have other ones here if you'd rather use super trend or percent trail. ATR is fine. You double click on it, it shows up down here. Standard settings are fine. Apply it. Oops. Hope I didn't break it. There we go. And voila, now you have your ATR line superimposed. You can duplicate it by going here to your trade manager, setting your ATR at 2, which is what the settings are, and use that as a filter before entering your trade, if you will. So you can see the same idea down here where we're looking. If we were following the signal and expecting it to turn the ATR over before we take the trade, it wouldn't have done it. Well, it would have done it over here. But I find that a little confusing, so I do it like that. And it is helpful, I think. Hmm. Early trend change signal here on the Falcon, and a nice little bounce off of the secondary resistance. And we're getting a chance at a second push on the entry. I know this is kind of odd because it seems like the market is currently heading lower. This is an early trend change signal, and it's early because the signal prints just as the trend line changes color. But we have this test of the extreme. We have that all-important test of the extreme. Now, of course, the signal is voided because it's reversed on itself and the trend line has changed color again. Oh, folks, before I forget, I need to mention we've got to close up the room a little earlier than usual today. I've got an appointment at 8:30, so I need about an hour to get there. So we're going to be closing up near the bottom of the hour. Heinz is asking, have there been any updates to the Trade Manager or DTS or any of that? No. No, you can double check with Ben, and Ben's email, if any of you are interested, is support@indicatorwarehouse.com. But no, there have been no changes. I think there was a little cosmetic upgrade to the Trade Manager about a year or so ago. Wow. Okay, the Hawk getting a little bit more active here. Had a nice macro pullback signal here. This yellow bar would have, if I didn't get engaged here, I would have voided the signal, but off of that yellow bar, I mean. But I would have thought that you should cover it at least to there. Ideally, because there isn't much structure here, maybe even back to the macro line. And either way, looks like we were okay, and then comes back with a first micro-macro cross signal right down here. This one too, you end up having to cover it relatively deep for this reason right here. We might be getting into a macro pullback situation. Let's shoot a trend line now this way. And so we've got a macro pullback signal, probably cover it to there. And we're into yellow bars. I'm wondering if that was the buyer's best shot back there. If we look at our longer term eagle, it looks as though, pardon me, yeah, here too, there isn't that much structure. Right? We'd like to see perhaps a decent test of the extreme, which means we can get another rally out of this market. The band currently turned over, but ever so slightly. Not so much that I think I would necessarily negate any signals. Well, it looks like crude oil made it down to 44.53 before turning. So that worked out to be a pretty good trade off of our crude oil eagle. So we're working on a sell signal here on the eagle. You can see just mentioning that ATR line, we're currently against the ATR. I would wait for the ATR to come into sync on this before taking the trade. I'm still not convinced that we're not going to see a rally here. And here comes the hawk with that first micro-macro cross signal, which I will regret if I don't take. Or maybe I'll regret if I do take. Let's set it up for a little bit wider parameter. Come on. Okay, I'm going to get set for my more aggressive stop strategy. Come on, just give me a little bit of a move lower here. least take it to there. Come on, you guys. Just one bar. Give me one bar. Come on. There we go. All right, I'm going to go with the parabolics now. If they fail here, then they're probably going to fail up here. Come on, give me that break even. Get down there. Oh, man. Whew. Oh, that was hard work. All right, and now here come the buyers again. Like I said, I was suspecting that they weren't all that strong on the sell side. Here is the sell signal on the Eagle. This now would have become our signal bar, the one that turned the ATR over. So we want to look at entering below there. And fortunately, it did not engage. Oops, let's do that instead. And it looks like it's possibly even working on a red bar buy of all things. The problem I'm having with the NQ reversing at this point is no real test of the extreme. Right? The market may well head lower, but if it does, it's probably going to end up in a rather big channel, which is fine. But as far as a full-on trend reversal goes, I don't think we're there yet. We do need to see a test of the extreme first, and I'm not sure that we may even get that in today's session. Yeah, I know Jim's making a really good point here. Look at the advanced decline, 23.12 for the buyers, 55.55 for the sellers. So that's very lopsided. That's like an 1800 advanced decline number, which on the surface is insanely bullish. And like Jim says, we're back at the 10 a.m. lows here on the NASDAQ. Where in the world did the buyers go? I know, Jim. I don't get it either. Where did they go indeed? Now, you have to bear in mind, I guess, that not everybody has the same objective as we do, right? We're very short-term traders, at least from the retail end. You know, we're classic day traders. We're in a trade, we're out of a trade. We may hold a position for 15 minutes at the most. A lot of these traders who are, you know, skewing the advanced decline numbers this morning, they may have a larger agenda. Or they might be unwinding some short positions too. That would Oh no, maybe not. Not on the advanced decline. Sorry, a little slip up there. Soybeans remaining a little bit quiet. Crude oil, a little bit of a retracement mode after the nice decline we had earlier. This crude oil now on the eagle again. So we ended up shorting crude up here, made a nice little move lower. A little bit of a retracement. I'm not sure we're going to get all the way up here to the hard edge on the eagle. If we do, that would make for a very tempting sell, but if it comes back with another sell signal, even off of the soft edge, I think I might be persuaded. Might be easier to take it on the Hawk or the Falcon. If that trend line is correct, it does appear as though we're getting a little bit shallow here on the Hawk. Of course, people always wanting to readjust the trend line, in which case it would be sitting like so. But no denying we're still coming up a little bit short on the bottom end. So far we've got a pretty decent looking macro pullback unfolding there. I guess they're working their way into the opening range gap, which I didn't think was all that alluring, but the market is obviously heading a little bit lower, not with much momentum. Slipping lower might be a better way to look at it. All right, so here, regardless of how we're drawing our trend lines on the hawk, we are starting to shallow up. We're getting a green bar sell. Now, the green bar sell, as we know, tends to develop toward the end of a trend. We don't have the full signal yet. We just have the warning dot. We're working on an early trend change signal here with the Falcon also. And a possible soft edge buy with the Raptor. Now, I don't want to seem like I'm getting overly bullish here. I hate when I think that my bias is influencing what's going on in the charts. However, we might be setting up for a buy here. Come on, give me a signal. This, of course, the first hour range. And this was the low of the morning, which sparked all that initial buying out of the gate. So no surprise that we're seeing some support here. I guess the bigger question is, will the buyers have some follow through another time? All right, so everything unfolded here a little bit too fast for me, but we're getting a red bar buy signal, kind of off the bottom end of the trading range. The trading range may end up developing like this. Looks like the Raptor gave us the best opportunity with this soft edge sell, or pardon me, soft edge buy right down here, the counter trend signal. And we're getting a first micro macro cross. Can I cover it all the way down there? Oh, I can too. There we go. Come on, baby. Hey, what a nasty reversal. Could add to your position down here on a macro pullback if you're a glutton for punishment. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Michael. Michael says it's the bottom of the hour. And yes, I need to go. Thank you for the reminder. If you guys are trading this afternoon, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a sideways day. I would expect the market to recover a little bit here, perhaps challenge the top end of the trading range again. But as far as overall direction today, I'm not so sure we have one. I do give the nod to the buyers, but just ever so slightly. All right, you guys, tomorrow is Wednesday, so we're going to be back at our open house room. I will see you guys then. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.